All right, so welcome everyone to our mobility and flexibility class. Yeah, you can just notice in my garage is getting more cramped. Yeah, so anyways, welcome. It is chilly. It is a little bit colder. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, I think. I think today should be clear, but winds are pretty strong. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get a nice stretching session. I know I definitely need it. Not sure about you guys, but yeah, just make sure you're safe out there if you go for a walk or anything like that. Just be mindful of your environment. Yeah, let's go ahead. Again, as always, make sure to comment if you have any requests on muscle groups that you want to stretch out this morning. And then also, if anything bothers you, I know sometimes some stretches could be a little bothersome or uncomfortable. If there's any stretches like that, you could always skip them. But yeah, other than that, no major announcements. I want to say we have about a month left in this term, and then we'll start over. But yeah, so let's go ahead and begin with our facial exercises. Okay, so open your mouth as wide as you can. Tilt your head up and bring your chin towards your nose, feeling the stretch down here through your neck. Morning, Maria. Let's do about 8 of those. Hey, Ella. And again, just comfortable. I ran about an hour this morning, and I was about maybe 40 minutes into my run, and I could feel my calves getting a little tight. And I was just thinking I can't wait to start the class so we could start stretching. Two more.
It was cold this morning.
Oh yeah.
I took a short walk.
Let's go ahead and puff up our cheeks with air and move that air bubble left to right. Yeah, I saw it's gonna be between 43 and 59 today, but that wind brings down the temperature another 10 degrees. From left to right, up and down. And relax. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and just gently palpate from our earlobes down our jawline to our chin. Gentle. This beard's getting a little thick. I'm not sure if this massage is working anymore on my face. Terry, I'll be over on Friday. You could have some donuts and coffee ready for me. I'll be in the area around 8, 8:30.
Okay, I'll make sure I'm not home.
Uh, I'm gonna catch you one of these days. We have our Ventura College Invitational this Friday. That's right here at the end of our side of our eyes and just comes straight down.
Actually, I do have a doctor's appointment on Friday morning, so
No worries. I was calling my buddy who lives out there, and he teaches at Buena, no, at Ventura High School. He used to teach at Buena, but I was asking him if there's any trails he suggests for, because I'm trying to get a run out there. I think I have let's use the soft of our knuckles and just palpate on our cheeks. I'm about a 5 hour break in between some of the races, so I'm like, oh, I'll go check out some of the trails in the area. And he told me all the really nice ones get gated off or roped off when there's storms. So I'm just like, ah. Okay, I might just have to run on the streets out there. So yeah, I think it's supposed to rain again tomorrow, so I could see those. Yeah, those trails get really choppy and muddy after a storm.
Aren't you close to the beach in Ventura?
Uh, I think closer to like the foothills we might be at.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go ahead and inhale through our nose and exhale all that air out through your lips, making that core really tight. So we're gonna take Julian to Monster Jam on Saturday for his birthday. So go see the monster trucks on
oh
at
my gosh, what is it gonna be full for?
yeah, he'll be four.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know four already.
It's in between my uh grandkids. Granddaughter will be 3 I think next week, somewhere around there.
Let's go ahead left to right. Yeah, it's so yeah, his birthday's on the 27th, but
Oh, that's right. That's my stepson's birthday. That's right. I
um
remember now.
so yeah, but this Saturday we're gonna be at Angel Stadium and it's kind of funny, the Angel tickets nosebleeds for $5 and Monster Jam nosebleeds for $60. So
Yeah.
I think the stadium should be renamed Monster Jam um Anaheim of Los Angeles of Anaheim or something because those Angels are
Don't talk to me about that.
I'll stop there.
With
Up and
the
down.
Dodgers.
That's right.
Root for all of them.
I'll get you a jersey.
I gotta root for some Royals this year.
Uh,
I know that one of the pitchers.
oh, your son.
He's a relief pitcher.
Oh, nice. So just continue with the stretch. With each movement, make sure your breathing is comfortable. And with each breath, we should get a little bit more range of motion. See our neck circles? Switch. Yeah, this weekend I was out there just east of Rancho Santiago College. I was at the Black Star Canyon Trail. Let's go ahead and no, we're gonna look left and apply a little bit of pressure on your right side and get a little bit more of a stretch on that right side of your neck. Just apply. But yeah, it's a lot of mountain bikers and walkers. I think there's a waterfall hike out there too, but we just stayed on the main fire road. Um, that goes to the radar Doppler at the top of the mountain. Ended up being a switch a little bit over 16 miles. So I think I should be ready for my race next weekend. Getting anxious for it. Let's go ahead and start with our shoulders a little bit. So I didn't start my tracker. It's okay. Sorry. I like tracking all my fitness activities. Oh, this feels good. So yeah, just big snow angels. Hi, Neelam. Take me, Senor Hannah.
Hi, I joined late. Sorry. My laptop
You're
was not charged.
you're in big trouble. Your grade's gonna come down. I'm just kidding. You could just drop off some cookies and you'll get your A again. Imagine that's how it worked.
Sure.
Some white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Oh, Jan, those are your favorite, huh? I just saw your expression. All right, let's go ahead and just have our hands a little bit more inward. So like a shoulder press, but more neutral. So just keeping the elbows right in front of you. Or some baklava. I like some baklava too. So yeah, I had a track meet on Saturday on Valentine's Day, so I couldn't do really anything special that day for my wife. But so what we ended up doing is Thursday we had all you can eat sushi, of course, and then that's her favorite. And then on, let's go ahead and arms in and then just out. And then on Friday, we ended up at a all you can eat Mediterranean buffet. So we skipped dinner on Friday because we were so stuffed, but really good food for both days.
It's my birthday, Valentine's Day, and we don't do anything on the day. It's such a big uh prices go up and everything,
Yeah.
dinner and going out.
Mm-hmm.
So we celebrate a
And
different
so
day.
palms back and raise forward. Well, happy birthday.
They
Hopefully.
gave me a major party on Sunday.
Oh,
I was
nice.
really shocked of everything, and I had to make a whole timeline of my life and photos.
Oh,
And
that's
my daughter-in-law did a banner, and we had really good Italian food
oh,
at this restaurant. And she had a room. They had my husband got this room, and it was pretty cool. I was a little overwhelmed.
that's cute. That's awesome. Good job for him. There you go. I gotta spoil him. See, take notes. Right there with Josefina Ramon. All right, very good. Let's go ahead. We did our snow angels, neutral press. Let's go ahead and do our continue with our back. So just clench your hands together here in front of you. Look down and punch forward. Open up your mid back. So look down, punch forward. Continue. About two more. Oh, arms are getting tired. Alrighty. Very good. Let's go ahead and then just continue between our shoulders and our back. So we'll do a trunk rotation using our chair. So just like sitting a little bit forward on this, use the side and the rest of the chair and just gently just hold and pull. Nice deep breaths. A little bit more. Let's go ahead and rotate. Hi, Doris. Welcome. Reach. Very good. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and reach up towards the ceiling. Reach up top. Yeah, late last week I saw this really our neighbor has a cat, and I saw this really friendly cat out on our, on their front yard. It had a little collar and everything. And I was calling it, and it kind of came towards me, and then it went away. But then it started walking in the middle of the street. Let's lean right. And luckily I was managed it crossed the street, but I was able to pick him up. So I start walking towards my neighbors with the cat, and it starts kind of kicking at me and trying to scratch me. I knock at my neighbor's door, and I'm like, "Hey, I got your cat. He was across the street." And she's like, "That's not my cat. I don't know whose cat that is." So I just had this random cat. But as soon as like she opened the door, the cat kind of got skittish and scratched me and took off running. But yeah, I was like, okay, that might be the last time I try to be helpful with the cat, taking kidnapping animals here. Leaning left. Very good. All right. Use our light movements here, just opposite shoulder tap. Really light. Let's go door opener. So elbow in, come in, and then all the way out. Yeah, my athletes are not going to be happy today. Strong winds on the track is one of the the worst things they could come across. I think they prefer rain over wind. 'Cause you get wet with the rain, and that's about it. But with the wind, it slows you down. You don't run as fast. It's really, yeah, puts a hindrance in their workouts. So I'll have a bunch of upset teenagers this afternoon. Switch, left elbow in, rotate out. Good. Sitting towards the front, we're going to do hip openers, moving on down. We have one more back one, but we'll split that one up. So again, just bring that leg out and use your hand to push. Yeah, I don't think we have any other holidays between now and the end of the term. Uh, the next term, I think we have a couple. I think it might just be spring break that we come across that alters our schedule, but that's about it. Switch. Reset. I'm just gonna rotate. We're gonna do our cat scratching post here. So sitting towards the front of the chair, separating your legs. Make sure you have space between your legs so you could lean down, reach up towards the ceiling, then diagonally, and come back. Reach. Keep going. Do one more. Very good. All right. Let's go ahead and do some adduction. So with this one, just want you to elevate, hold your leg, your thigh from underneath the femur bone. So underneath, and then just rotate that ankle out and back in. So go as far out this way as you can. Adduct that leg out. And then switch. Elevate your left leg. Very good. All right, let's do our piriformis stretch. So right ankle on that left knee. If you need a little water break, feel free whenever you want. Just grab some water. Stay hydrated. Gentle push down on that knee. Gentle push. Bring that knee up towards our chest and just hold, hug it out. Feel that stretch running through here. Let's go ahead and switch. Left ankle on that right knee. I have this giant hole in my sock right here. My big toe sticks out. But I refuse to throw these socks away because this pair of socks was about $22, just the one pair. But I usually use these just around the house because yeah, there's a big hole on them. And but I went running in them this morning, and I think with every step, my toe just kept going a bit deeper and deeper. And yeah, I think it's seen its last days.
You can mend the holy sock, Julio.
My mom has offered, and I think all it's gonna take is a 1 or 2 days of me wearing them that it's just gonna poke right through.
You can put
Yeah, and I
missing
mean,
those socks.
but it's just, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's coming through.
You like
Well,
your socks.
They can become dusters.
Yeah, so push down. Yeah, I have like I said, when I used to work at the running shop, a lot of those fancy socks were the cheapest ones were about $14. And yeah, so
$22.
$14. Yeah, they're like socks that prevent blisters for, being on your feet, or some of them have, I think I have this really nice pair. They're like merino wool, so when they get wet, your feet are still kind of warm and dry. And I think I honestly I've worn that pair of socks about 4 times in the last like 10 years. But yeah, just because I think if you wear those when it's pretty warm, and it's just gonna make your feet kind of just clammy. But when it's wet, it kind of keeps your feet dry. And on Monday's run, I ran when it was right before it started pouring, and yeah, it was magic. But these are Yeah, this hole is getting a little ridiculous right now. So let's go ahead and recline back. Bring that knee up to your chest and then just extend that lower leg.
You could always make a sock quilt, Julio, if you're sentimental, or a sock baby and stuff it.
Puppet. Yeah. I might, yeah, make a
If you
little
don't want to get rid of them.
puppet for Julian. Yeah,
Yeah, you could wait till you have another sock with the hole and then you have a mismatched pair.
that's true.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
I might try that. These already look mismatched. I mean, I'll show you. But, well,
I could see it.
but like you could see like
You could see it.
the pattern's not consistent. It's this one starts with the stripes up here and this one doesn't. So these already look a bit mismatched. But
If they're comfortable, who cares?
yeah. And then let's go ahead and do our kicks. So out in, drop that heel and rotate it in. Let's switch.
You're gonna need to be known as Coach Socks.
Yeah, I thought about, bringing out different socks to different practices and stuff.
You like your socks.
But I had maybe around, oh, there you go. You got some socks too. I had about maybe like 8 or 9 pairs. And I was just like, man, this is getting an expensive hobby. Or if you want to call it that. Let me bring down this down. We're gonna work on our lower feet. But yeah, I think after I just found some like Under Armour tube socks. And then let's just go ahead. Oh, well, we need our ankle raises, our heel raises. So let's do about 20 of these. And yeah, I just stuck with some black ones, and then now I stopped with those. So just got pricey. All right, and then now our toes up. Go ahead and elevate that right ankle. Hey, Diane. And just our ABCs here. Some ankle mobility. Yeah, so when we went to the all-you-can-eat restaurant, it's the prices are, they just skyrocketed everywhere. Um, but when my wife first started going out, it was all you can eat for $22. And then in the evening it was 27. And then now it's $40 a person for the sushi. And yeah, so we go and usually they have like a kids menu because if we take Julian, he'll eat like, 5 chicken nuggets or like chicken wings or whatever they have there that's like chicken wise. So we go this time, and our bill per person was $40, and they said for 3 to 8 year olds it was $25. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, Julian's just gonna have like 3 chicken nuggets, if anything. But he didn't. He had like 2 mozzarella sticks, and that was it. But luckily our waitress was, all right, just so you guys know, yeah, this is a recent update, but moving forward, just expect that here. So we're like, all right, sorry, Julian, you won't be going with us anymore to you can eat sushi. It's kind of crazy. $25 for a 3-year-old. So let's go ahead, keep our feet flat, and then just work on bringing your toes towards your heels. Oh, this one's like definitely not good for my socks. My toes just kind of went right through on that first scratch. This is gonna file down my toenail on this floor. So again, just bring your toes towards your heels, keeping those arches nice and strong. Okay, and then now similar, but just with your metatarsals. So with the soft pads of your feet, just try to bring those towards your heel. So less movement from your toes, but we're still kind of bringing that arch a little bit closer. Mhm. All right, we could go ahead and put the chair away. We're gonna move on to some standing stretches. So feel free to grab your foam roller, your stick, your pole. So we could go ahead and, yeah, continue with our stretches from a standing position. Some water while we're doing that transition. Ooh, yeah, I didn't do my 1 or 2 minutes of stretching this morning with my calves, and maybe that's why my calves got tight. So yeah, just remember, if you have a little routine, and even if it's a couple of minutes, just do it, because your experience for your workout might be a lot better with doing that. So all right, let's go ahead, grab our stick, our foam roller, and let's just go up and down right here. Let's go left to right. Here, and then let's go side to side. Woo. All right, left to right, up and down here. All right, focus on that left shoulder. So push with your right hand and guide with your left hand. All right, 30 degrees forward. 60 degrees forward. $90, right in front of you. Towards the back. All right, right shoulder now. So let's focus on that right side. Push with your left hand, guide with that right. All right, 30 degrees. $60. $90. Towards the back. All right, let's go behind the back. Up and down. Lift. Very good. All right, we're gonna continue with some standing stretches. All right. So let's go ahead and then let's go trunk rotation here, just left to right. Gentle. Excuse me. Half circles. Big hula hoops, big giant hip circles. One. Switch. Hips are pumping. All right, a little bit of balance work here. So you could have your chair or a table, but we're gonna do the quad stretch. You could just hover your hand right, grab right above your ankle, pull back, and you could just lightly tap on that chair or table. But if you want to work on that balance, then yeah, just kind of hover it over. Go ahead and switch. Go back. We're gonna do our leg swings. So remember this one, just using a wall or a table or even your chair. We're just gonna hold on here and then I'm just gonna swing my leg left to right. So my toes are pointing towards the camera, right in front of me. And if you get nice, you could swing that leg even a little bit more, hopefully with no pain. And switch legs. And I'm gonna turn sideways and just front to back. And switch. Okay. I'm gonna use the chair. You could use the bottom portion of the chair at the top. We're gonna do our leg swings over. So again, just using a counter, you could just go up, forward, and then reverse. We'll do about 5 on each side, 5 forward, 5 backwards. And last one. Good. I'm gonna switch sides. Fix my sock real quick because my toe's coming out. So 5 each direction. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and grab our yoga mat. We're going to transition down to the floor to finish off. Again, if you need a little bathroom break or water break, now's a good time. Time to transition. Make sure this. All right. So let's go ahead and just start by kneeling. We'll start with the kneel positions first and then transition to the floor. So kneeling here, right leg is going to come off to the side. Toes are pointing towards the ceiling. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead, lean forward, hold that position there. You should feel that stretch on your inner thigh. And come up, turn your trunk, your torso towards your leg, and lean towards it. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So I'm gonna be kneeling again. Just gonna shift over. Left leg comes up. And then again, just lean forward. Let's come upright. Rotate your torso towards that leg. And then lean forward. Very good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get on our belly. All right, we're gonna do our quadruped position. So belly down. Just kind of rest on your elbows. Light stretch on your back here. All right, let's go ahead and place your hands where your elbows were just at and push up. Go ahead and bring your glutes to your heels in one motion. And relax. Okay, we're gonna get on our fours here. Your hands right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. You're gonna arch up, inhale, exhale, and repeat. Inhale, arch, exhale, suppress, repeat. One more. Very good. All right, we're gonna rest our arms a little bit. From this position, we're gonna get into a lunge position. So just forward, and we're just gonna rock forward and then back. So on that forward, just bring that knee past your toes if you can. And on the way back, just kind of bring your hips back if you're sitting, and then try to drop those hips so you get a nice stretch in your hamstrings. in that forward position, that bottom leg should get a stretch around the groin area. And as we're transitioning back our hips, you should feel that on your hamstring. Very good. All right, we'll switch. In lunging position, forward, back. Forward. Got a few more before we finish off. Gonna get back on our fours. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and shift our hands to our left side. So once we're there, we're gonna arch our back and drop your hips towards your glutes. Hold and maintain there. Reset. Come to your right side. Arch your back. And bring your glutes back. Reset. Let's go ahead and lay on your side. Close to being done here. We're gonna go ahead and bring your top leg and then swing that as far back as you can. And once you can't go any further, drop that heel and just hold that in place. If you like, you could try to move your knee up and down. A little bit of mobility. But again, you don't want any discomfort, so just try to bring that knee up and down while your foot is resting on the floor. And then now let's swing that leg forward, as far forward as you can, and drop that heel. And reset. All right, from here, we're going to do our book opener for this side that we're already resting on. So tuck in your elbows, sorry, your knees, your heels, stack them. Place your top hand on top of your bottom hand. So right hand is on my left, and I'm just gonna follow that right hand all the way back behind me and bring it back here. I'm gonna repeat about 6 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Awesome. I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna rest on my right side now. So resting on my right side. I'm gonna bring my top leg, so my left leg all the way back. Once I've done that, place it there. I'm gonna drop my knee down and then up. So a little bit of flexion here. And then I'm gonna swing that top leg forward, as far forward as I can, and drop that heel. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna tuck in my knees, stack my hands, and book openers here. So follow that top hand as far back as you can. And back. One more. 6. 6. All righty. Let me see. I think we could do one more. I always add an extra one after I say last time. We're just gonna do knee drops. This one's pretty easy and comfortable. So just sit up position, arms at your side, and then just just drop your knees. If you like, you could do these if you're already over it. I understand. But again, just left to right. Loosen up the hips a little bit before we go into our day. All right, last one on each side. Ooh. That should do it for today. How are you feeling? Oh,
Very helpful. Stretch.
yeah, perhaps needed that. Uh, I think yes, my back was sore, but hopefully everyone's feeling a little bit loose, a little better. But yeah, we'll see each other again on Monday. Like I mentioned, no major announcements, nothing new. But yeah, but other than that, do we have any questions before we head out?